Start right now living an extraordinary life. Join your life coach and favorite auntie, Carla D. Tillery, and co-host LA on the Chair Chronicles. Having those important life talks and giving you advice to help you live your best life. All right, yes. Here we go again.
We're back.
We want to continue our conversation about what it is for the experiences of people over 50.
Yes.
And this is such a compelling topic, whether you are over 50 or whether you're younger than 50, what we say. Life Talks, it's for everybody. It is still for everybody. Yes. So stay tuned with us on this conversation.
Yes.
Because what we want to talk about today, LA, is I want to focus in on the confidence and self-esteem, right, for people who are older and talk about some of those comparisons to their younger counterparts.
I like that. that. I think it's definitely relevant for all of us,
right?
We all have had our ups and downs with self-esteem and
yes.
confidence and what that looks like, what it sounds like,
absolutely, what it looks like, what it sounds like, how we interpret who we are growing up. Certainly gets impacted by both internal and external sort of controls and environments. And I would say when I was young, then I was like the quirky kid. So
no, not you.
I was, I was the one that was in the books all the time. So kind of recognized as the teacher pet student because I was always raising my hand. So I think for me, trying to kind of be seen by adults probably was something I bet my sister would say, because you was always out there trying to get attention. I don't think I knew that at the moment I was trying to get attention, but I do think that I looked for more adults to validate, she's cute, she's smart, she's this and that, and to talk about me rather than my peers, like my other friends and stuff like that. So I was not looking for affirmation or any or using influences from my peers. It was more from the adults in my life.
Wow. And for me, I'm definitely a Gemini and I'm an E, so we love social interaction. So for me, it really was the socialization of just being around other people that inspired me, that I looked up to, that I wanted to be like. I was definitely that scrawny, really tall one in my class. I look at pictures of myself and all the kids are down here and this is this beanpole. And so, thinking about, I definitely was that scrawny kid. I never liked to wear sneakers because my feet were big and, I'm 9 years old and I'm wearing a size 9, And so, for me, it really was about socialization and it was about being around. And not that I was trying to be everybody's friend, but I like people.
See, where you were tall, I was short. So I was the shortest kid in my class.
Wow.
And very skinny. And so, those comments were coming out all the time. So I think when we talk about like having confidence in like body image, I definitely didn't have that as a kid.
Not at all.
Was not on any level where I felt like I needed to be out on anybody's magazine cover.
Absolutely not. No, not at all.
So from that perspective, the short kid, picked on a little bit because even when I was in high school, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. I had to wear a back brace. And so my self-esteem, like I said, as I tried to rely on my peers, I was done already.
Right.
I was done already because the jokes were there. I was called ironing board. I was called flat back, all of those things.
Yes.
So I had to find other ways of being somewhat what we call like attractive to other people. Right. To help build my self-esteem. Because it definitely wasn't coming from
again,
me.
I think it is also a part of childhood, of parents, of mentors, of siblings, or whoever you are connected to. Building each other up, as a child. And I mean, these things come in time. They come with time and learning. Because like you said, I was that person, but because I socialized, I didn't care as long as I had good friends or good people around me. And like you said, you start to come into your own at some point. It happened for me in college.
Okay.
That's when I really started to come into my own. I could never make the cheerleading squad when I was in junior high, elementary school, high. But I made the cheerleading squad when I got to college.
Wow. Okay.
And for me, it was like that big boost.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And so, obviously starting to work out and starting to feel better. My body image was changing and I felt different. So I think we go through stages depending upon our age. We go through those stages where, we might feel great. And then all of a sudden we go to this next age and we're like, not so much, So it's a journey.
So the question is, what stage are you at with your self-confidence and self-esteem?
Yes, this is good.
And
let's unpack it.
I want to start off by reading just a piece of this article that was in Read Online, and it's talking about this very thing. So it says, new research from Sega shows that confidence is something that also improves with age, as 59% of over 50s have reported to have grown more confident as the years have gone by. So absolutely reiterating what we feel and what we've sensed through our own personal journey of self-confidence, that it has grown over the years.
Yes.
Because definitely I didn't have it in my teens. And maybe a little bit more in my 20s.
Yes.
But certainly being over the age of 50, I'm at a totally different level.
Totally
and
different.
it's not just based on like what my body image is either. So yeah. So these findings strike out against the traditional stereotype of the older generation fading into the background. And I think that thinking about just that phrase about older people fading, I definitely feel like there's this new sort of level of over 50 that is like, I don't want to say stage performance, but listen, we are out there.
We're out there.
We are out there.
Yes, we are.
We are out there. Male and female. We are out there.
And making moves and having that energy that, when we thought about, when we were in our 20s thinking about somebody that was 50 years old, it seems so old.
Right. It did. Right. How dare you say that now? Listen.
Don't say that.
And I tell you, as a life coach and working with clients, this certainly comes into play into so many of my conversations, right? Self-confidence, self-acceptance, and trying to understand what's it related to. Is it related to their age or their current experiences? Have they had a network of people that have surrounded them that has affirmed them in ways that now they feel like they can stand and that they're good and that they're solid? Just even when you're not perfected. And I listen, I can't even get it out because
this is so good.
Right. When we're talking about people being confident, it does not mean that you feel like you're perfect.
Thank you.
And that you have no more room to grow.
Right.
And there's a way to stand in who you are and still show up knowing that you still are growing in certain areas.
Absolutely.
So we are not talking about perfection.
No, not at all.
We're talking about perfecting.
That's it. And it's not arrogant.
Yes.
It doesn't show up as I think I'm better than anyone else. This is truly a growth from within.
From within.
It's within and it grows outward. Yeah.
And some people struggle with standing in their own, knowing that they still have some areas, that need to be dealt with.
We all do. Let's just be clear. We all have areas.
We all do. And so trying to kind of pour into someone, and I think what you talked about, like this circle, right? Because let me just finish this quote here that says that so we talked about like older generation fade into the background, and it says as they grow older, it reveals that with age also comes a sense of self-acceptance in their looks, self-worth, and socializing. So you talked a little bit about socializing, but as kind of like part of your circle, right? And I do think that is important. And I think more so, who is in your circle?
That's it.
Who are you socializing with? Right? That's at a close level to your heart, where their words matter. Where what they perceive of who you are matters to you, to the point where it has an influence on how you shape yourself.
That's it. Are you influencing them? Are you pushing them to say, listen, you go for that. You do this. Or I'm inspired by what you're doing. And are they doing the same for you?
For you, right. So who's pouring into you, and who are you pouring into to kind of continue this path and journey of building esteem in people that we care about?
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important that we're surrounded by people that can love you enough to even correct, that can make some suggestions, that can say, you know what, you might need to work on this, or guess what, congratulations, awesome, you're doing great with this, you're doing great with that, because we need it all. We need it all.
We do. I mean, this is what I think shapes us. Like you said, from that inward outward, and you want people in your circle that's going to be honest. I want honesty.
Right.
And again, like you said, this is not about perfection. This is not about trying to be perfect.
Right.
This is about living your best self.
That's right.
And that comes with flaws.
It comes with flaws. And so, we have to teach ourselves to slow down in those moments that we are overshadowed by our flaws. Because they will put us in a deep hole if we're not careful. Right? A past mistake. A relationship that's becoming more disengaged and disconnected. And we're like the wish, coulda, shouldas, all of those things. Right? And of course you want to have some reflections, and you want to think about, how you can do things better, or redirecting your course to make things right. But when you beat yourself up, that is a problem. That is a problem.
And it does chip away at your self-esteem. It makes you feel like, okay, I can never recover from this. Or should I put myself out there? Even though I feel okay about myself, I don't want others to not see me that way.
Right. So we can put a mask on at times.
Right.
Or we're so impacted by something that's happened at work that has affected your self-esteem because of a criticism or someone identified an error that you made. And the next thing you know, you're taking those feelings and the impact of that situation into your relationships. Then the next thing you know, am I good enough for my partner? Am I good enough for my husband? Am I good enough for my wife? I'm not the best daughter. I'm not the best mom. I'm not the best father. We can't. So, and opposite wise, things that affect us in our relationships can then end up impacting us on the job.
Oof. Yeah. It's bad. Yeah.
Things in your social life with your girlfriend and your best friends or whomever. If you put that person close to you and what they say matters to you. And they say something unwillingly or not even knowing that they might have affected your self-esteem. Then you carry that. And then you demonstrate that in other areas of your life.
It does come out and
it comes out and it shows. Yeah.
Deep. This is deep.
It is. All it takes is one person sometimes.
That's it.
One event to shake you.
Yeah. And that's why your foundation has to be built on understanding that, number one, we're not perfect. Number two, you are worthy.
Just because you're here and you're alive and well. Let's stop here because that's important. This self-worth and this self-value. And I say, as long as you are breathing, you are worthy of something, because I don't believe you would still be here. Right? Because I believe, I'm life purpose. I'm purpose driven.
Absolutely.
And I believe if you are here, there's a specific reason why you are.
That's it.
And so that means that there's another opportunity for you to fulfill your God-given purpose.
You have a footprint on this earth. And it doesn't have to be compared to anyone else's. It's uniquely to you. And again, what do you think about social media? Like Facebook, of course, everybody's going to put something grandiose on Facebook because nobody wants to be seen as always having troubles and all of that. And you have people that start to compare themselves.
Yes, they do.
And that is just the worst thing. And I say people really should take a break, a social media break. And especially when it starts to impact how you feel about yourself.
Right. Well, we know that to be true. So, there's been plenty of stories that have talked about people who have felt very depressed, had low self-esteem, have made comments on Facebook about that. We also know that there are people who kind of live like behind these great images.
Yes.
These great, awesome photos that they're living the best life. But yet behind the scenes, they're struggling and they're dealing with some things.
Right.
And I'm talking about dealing with serious things. And so social media certainly has a play. I'm hoping that even these statistics that we just read still rings true for people that are gaining confidence, that are gaining that self-acceptance, do not succumb to what they see in terms of social media. These images, the other posts, to keep up with the Joneses, like all of that. I think younger people, and I'm not trying to overgeneralize, but I think the younger people are more susceptible to keeping up with the images that are being portrayed and the storyline, and the housewives and all of these other reality shows, So I want to talk about so spoiler alert, heads up if you have not seen the new movie by Kevin Hart. It's a limited series. I believe it's called like True Story, if I'm not mistaken. I watched it and it really deals with a famous comedian played by Kevin Hart, and I think his character name is called The Kid. And you can just see the life that is portrayed through this limited series and how it impacts who he is. The family relationships, being the star, but yet dealing with family issues and just a regular person. And so me and my family have talked about just like the impacts of social media and trying to, when you're in the limelight, how does that then affect who you really are? And how you see yourself and how do you affirm yourself? Because do you affirm yourself by, the number of fans? Do you affirm yourself by the number of people that want autographs or the number of tickets you sell at a show?
That's good.
And then you still, on the inside, you're really trying to be a regular person. But you really can't.
You can't.
And then how much of that really influences your self-acceptance of who you are?
And are you looking at it as, are these people really accepting me? Or the talent that I bring and this person I bring? And I mean, it's wonderful that you mentioned that. And I'm definitely going to check out the series. Yesterday, I happened to catch an episode of Tamara Hall, and she had Mary J. Blige. And she's turning 50 this year. And so she's doing this really big impactful concert, and she's also writing her memoir. And listening to her interview, I would suggest if you can catch it on demand, please watch it. It was so insightful, and it was right on time with what we're talking about, but her turning 50 and how she has regained that confidence. And there's a quiet confidence and acceptance of who she is. And when you watch it, you just see it. And that's what we're talking about. So I would suggest that people really watch this interview, because it really speaks to what we're talking about. Self-confidence, self-acceptance, self-esteem. And what she had to go through to get there. So they say, the expression about, we women age like a fine wine. Yes, we did.
I don't even know what the expression is for men that age. I don't know if there is one.
Let us know, men.
And let us know. Absolutely. Yes. But I think life experiences over time can groom and shape you. And they can shape our confidence. They shape our self-worth, how we value ourselves. And I do want to talk about anniversaries or significant dates, like birthdays. Can trigger a reflection and thoughts and can impact how you feel about yourself on the day of your birthday. That's just one example, but there are other dates that could as well. So birthdays can be a trigger point.
Which I love to celebrate.
I do love to celebrate.
Yeah, but I am reflective.
But I am also very much reflective, right?
Yeah.
And so, have I accomplished enough? Does that value, how I see myself? Right? What haven't I done yet? Could be a part of that equation that may say, I'm beating myself up and this is not a good day, a good moment, or a good year. Because we've talked about that before. About some people's moments last for years. And so there are some people that have these reflections on their birthdays and have a hard time getting out of that because they feel like, oh my God, I haven't done enough, or I'm not where I thought I was. What did I do wrong? This person is not, is still saying that I got issues.
Right. So they're looking at all the minuses in their life.
Right.
And not so much when we think about our birthdays, we think about, oh my goodness, this is another year of life.
Right.
For them.
And what's being added.
Right.
That struck me when you just said that what's being subtracted.
Yeah.
What's being added though.
Right. So it's a way of pivoting. It's that mindset that we have to get out. And again, there's nothing wrong with being reflective. Maybe you need to get it out on a piece of paper. Right. Here are the things that I didn't accomplish, but here are the things that I have done. An accomplishment doesn't always mean that you've conquered a business venture or you started something, a business. It can be something as simple as, I'm going to drink 8 ounces of water every day because water is good for me.
Right.
You've done it. It might not seem like a big deal to anyone else, but it should make you feel good. Yeah.
So let's leave with some tips about what people can do to build their self-esteem. Okay. So we'll just kind of share what's on our heart. So the first one I would say is, if there are things that you really feel like you want to work on, get a plan and work on it. I mean, to me, that sounds so simple.
But it is.
And it is. It really is. If it's something you want to work on physically, if it's something that you want to work on emotionally, there are different things you can do. Maybe you need to take the first steps to talk to a psychologist. Right. Maybe you need a life coach. Yeah. Maybe you need just to have positive people in your life that are more affirming and that have positive energy. Right. And so whatever it is that you feel like you need to work on, set a plan and start to work on it.
That's it. Okay. And leading into that is, well, grab a pen, grab a journal, go and buy one, create one, whether it's on your computer, whether it's on your tablet, on your phone, or writing. Write down those things every day that you appreciate about yourself, that you love about yourself. Let's stay away from the negative. It's easy to write that list. But let's try to start to get in tune with, what are those things that make me uniquely me? And let that build you up.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the third tip I'm going to say, I really want people to take this as something that they could do right away, is to be sure you have a circle in your life, people in your circle, really, that will have that honest, transparent relationship with you that comes off in a loving way. You can be selective. This is what people don't understand. You have a choice to choose who has that kind of influence in your life. And sometimes it's not your family.
Right.
There are a lot of people who don't have parents who know how to affirm and do that, right? They might not have spouses that know how to do that, or partners that know how to do that. You can be selective of who's in your circle that kind of gives you that build up that you need, right, to help you build your self-esteem.
Love it. That's
be selective.
That's it. We have to.
Be selective.
Be selective. Yeah.
I didn't say ignore all those other people in your life. Let me make sure, let me break this down even more. This is not about ignoring people that you need in your life. I'm not saying ignore mom and dad. No. What I'm saying is that sometimes you might need an additional circle in your life that can help build your self-esteem. And that can pour and affirm who you are.
That's right.
And validate who you are.
That's it.
As a person.
Yes. Yeah.
So there you have it. You got
Good
tips
nuggets.
1, 2, and 3.
That's it.
You can make a plan if there's something that you want to work on.
Yes.
Number 2, you can journal to kind of write down those things that you appreciate, those acknowledgments, those accomplishments in your life, so that it will resonate with you, that you are someone of purpose, of value.
That's right.
And then thirdly, be selective about who's in your circle that has that type of influence that can help build your self-esteem and your self-acceptance.
Good.
There you go. Life talk.
Yes.
Listen, again, this is for everybody because we want you to live your best life.
Absolutely.
So thank you for tuning in. Like this episode as well as share this episode. Be sure to comment if you have any ideas you would like to share with us. And again, we appreciate you as always. Stay tuned and stay connected on The Chair Chronicles.